Have you ever noticed that, like, the second you go to do something, your phone almost knows to give you a notification?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, I'll get one of those random notifications. It's like a news article,
Mhm.
or like it'll give my screen time for the week or something.
Yeah,
And it happens right as I'm about to put the phone down. It almost knows that I'm done with the phone. You know?
right. Well, it does.
It does,
Screen,
right?
if you have screen time on, then it literally does.
Is that something I should turn off?
Yeah.
Okay. And then screen time's interesting. I have a really interesting relationship with
Well,
screen
it's
time.
not just screen time,
Yeah.
but like screen time is a thing that keeps track of how long you're using your phone on average, when, and all that, right? So like, it's
Right.
not just that; it's also like the ad stuff that's built into the apps and the UI and stuff like that of, or not the UI of the the API of the weather app and all that shit. So like, it's a lot of stuff. But yeah, screen time.
You actually have my phone on the line right now. All right. Hey. Whoa.
Because also too, consider this: you're just always on your phone, so you're always about to put it down. So no matter what,
No.
there's a great chance you're going to get a notification because you're constantly engaging with it.
You know what's funny? It's like I find phone conversations about phones to be so like annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have them all
I have to
day,
get my protein
every
in.
day.
I know you do, but what I mean is like when people are like, your phone releases like dopamine and blah blah blah. Well, it's just
Fuck you. Everything does.
Yeah, it's like everything does. The phones are not going anywhere. Stop being anti-phone. It's like it's just like a waste of time.
It's like being anti-internet in like 2003. Like, it's fucking done.
Right.
It's here. It's staying here. It's It's huge.
I even take it a step further when people are like, "Oh, I have it," where like this app, I can't look at it during this time of day, blah blah. It's like I mean,
Oh.
like even thought like that, I think is more dangerous than just like letting you naturally
No.
use the phone to be an expansion of your brain looking for
Right.
information. You know what I'm saying?
There's almost nothing like, it's psychotic to kind of go through your phone's like settings and be like, let me customize this so that I can like
So I have self control.
yeah. Like, let me parent myself and set my bedtime and shit. I don't know.
Could be a style thing because for me,
It's probably it's a brain type. Like, I'm not like an A type person. Like, I don't have that like drive for organization and like that kind of stuff. So maybe it's just like some people's brains are.
I dropped some protein on my chair. I didn't want to waste it. You know what I mean? You can't be wasting protein muffins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're expensive.
They're
like
expensive,
$21 a muffin.
It's $21 muffins. We're recording. What up, everybody? Welcome to the Comedians Wrestling Podcast, everybody. Welcome to the Comedians of Cell Phones Podcast. That's what we're going to do every week. We see whatever the natural conversation we have at the top is.
Right.
And then this podcast is then renamed from Comedians Wrestling. Now we're the Comedians of Cell Phones.
Right. We have to go back into the Spotify, back into the Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. We have to change the name of the podcast.
Bro.
Change all the tags every day.
I posted a story about this, but I get in my car and all of a sudden U2's playing. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is that same free U2 album from like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? It still plays in my car now.
Yeah. There's it's almost like it's like the year is like 3090 and we open on like a desolate post-apocalyptic landscape. Cirrus cumulonimbus clouds are just rolling, blanketing the sky, blocking the sun. The camera pans down to a trash heap where we hear the faint sound ringing in the distance. As the camera pans closer, the sound becomes louder, and it's the sound of Bono's voice echoing out of an old broken stereo from a civilization long since gone. Suddenly, in the distance, the sounds of one of the local gangs, the Bonos, have appeared. Some of the only literature or entertainment in this world is the U2 album that was placed on Apple iPhones in the year 2010.
Yeah, and then there's a it looks like what used to be a storefront, you know?
Yeah.
and it's a kind of exploded, and there's glass shattered everywhere, and there's a TV, an old tube TV, still on its side, flickering but still working, and it's Bono in there saying, "You too can still be part of the revolution. Sign up to be part of the Bono army, and we will take over the world with love."
We smash cut. We smash cut to the top of the tallest tower, where a sorcerer is lurking at the top. You hear him muttering to himself, and his like Hecubus helper comes in and says, "Master, what's wrong?" And he says, "I think that I am close to the edge." And he pulls his mask off, and it is the Edge from U2,
You
who
think
is
you know me?
the big bad versus
Edge,
the Bonos.
the wrestler.
Yeah. It's Edge the wrestler.
And then he
And then-
spears Sauron.
That's who you
Off
think.
of
Yeah, you think that Edge from U2 is going to be the big bad, but then he's just like he's the mini boss,
A
and
smoke-
then Edge comes out. A smoke monster from the depths.
Can we talk about Edge for a second? By the way, this is Comedians of Wrestling, Comedians of YouTube podcast, Comedians of Bono podcast, Comedians of Wrestling podcast, the best motherfucking wrestling podcast on the motherfucking universe, because we have combos like that. If you don't like it, eat a dick salad.
Yeah, you don't like it. You don't like a little scene painting. All right, maybe
Yeah, you don't like
go-
from two trained improvisers. You don't like a little scene painting.
What's wrong with you?
Comedians of Wrestling podcast. Patreon.com/Comedians of Wrestling. Support this podcast. Get access to our post-Dynamite bonus episode. Comes out Friday morning, sometimes Thursday night if I'm feeling spicy, baby. If I'm feeling spicy, it'll come out Thursday night. Beep, beep, beep. Support the motherfucking podcast. I got to say, Newman, first off, we're recording this Sunday morning. When we started this, I didn't even take a sip of coffee yet.
Wow.
So you're going to watch me get caffeinated. And,
POV.
yeah, this is POV caffeination porn.
Yeah.
Uh,
Caffeination porn. I would
I
love
got-
if that's like what you're drinking there is not water, but just straight distilled caffeine.
yeah, hell yeah. I wish. Is that a thing?
Like you
Is that what
decided
Coke
that.
is?
Yeah, that's what Coke is. Yeah, you decided that there was too many like impurities in coffee, so you get just straight to the source.
I had so much to talk about in wrestling. I watched everything so closely this week.
Yeah.
I watched all of SmackDown, Rampage, Dynamite. I'm trying to get into the Rumble mode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to begin, but I'm going to start. You just mentioned something. I was like, shit, we got to talk about that immediately. What'd you say?
I don't know. I don't.
Alright.
When I say something,
I
it's
got a little
gone.
list here. But then,
I don't remember.
I got a little list here, but then I was like, shit, should we go to that first? Because that's fucking interesting. But you were saying it before we recorded. You were talking about Goldberg. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But,
yeah. I'm
okay,
not thrilled.
Yeah. So
not
let's,
thrilled
let's,
for Bill.
Let's talk about SmackDown, and let's be real here. One thing I've realized about this podcast, from doing it for as long as we have, my camera's sideways, so Phil will just give me shit for that later. But I don't want to fix it now. I got this new cam he asked for, and it's harder to make.
It looks great.
It looks better.
Yeah, the picture quality is like obviously better.
Okay, good. Okay, but here's the deal.
Oh, it does sit kind of weird on the.
It
Do you have
sits
it on the
weird my
tripod
mouth.
or do
No,
you
I
have it on the?
I have like an arm. It's pretty good,
Oh, I
actually.
see.
But because
That's
it has,
good right there. The way
Yeah,
the
it's
way
better
it
now.
is perfect.
Well, I line it up with the brick. That's how I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
Anyway, listen, motherfuckers, you're getting
Line
a
it
little
up.
beat
I
behind
line
the
it up
scenes.
with the brick.
I light it up with the Godfather. Yep, AJ Styles. Remember him?
The new Godfather. That should be his new gimmick. Just the new Godfather.
Line it up for the Godfather because I'm now hanging paintings.
The God Painter.
He's the PC version of the Godfather. Line it up for the Godfather. I like a straight edge. I like to use it.
There's just him like going from career to career, just keeping the God part in front of everything, just to keep the I'm your God,
God
God mailman, God
The
parent.
God
yeah.
mailman.
But you know, God parent is a job. Don't let anybody else say that it's not.
Okay. Well, there's been blowback there, but I don't really want to get into
Like
that
if their
that
parents die, you got to take care of the fucking kid. I don't think so.
Let's
I'm
talk
not being a
about
godfather.
Let's talk about a lot of things. But I will say this. You were just talking about Edge for a second. So before I go into the even though Edge still is a wrestler,
Yes.
But I feel like Edge is the wrestler who's done the most with the least. If that makes sense, like you know what I mean?
Easily.
Because it's like when you were thinking about the smoke. What?
Although, no, I don't want to derail you, but I'll say I think Bill Goldberg's the one who's done the most with the least.
No, he's done. I guess it's a different version of that, but
Yeah.
Goldberg has done. He's done so much though, Goldberg.
I guess it's like Goldberg has made. He
looks so great.
made like a wonderful meal with like ingredients that you knew that he had. Edge made a wonderful meal out of ingredients that like you didn't even know he fucking. Like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, it was more of a surprise, or it's more surprising that Edge is successful than Bill
I
Goldberg.
think it's like Goldberg has done the most with the least amount of passion, or whatever, or
Okay.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Edge has done so much with Edge does not have the phicality of a Goldberg, you know.
Right.
Like Goldberg in the '90s is just an absolute specimen. Like
Yeah,
you see him
untouchable.
and you're like, holy shit, you know.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like one of those lightning in a bottle thing, or thunder in a bottle, folks. But right, he was
Yeah.
nitro in a bottle,
Yeah.
nitrous in a canister, and
Vin Diesel, The Rock, wrestling.
exactly.
We're back.
But oh yeah, this is the Fast and the Furious of wrestling. That's not even the same format of what I was to choke. Wow, this
Train
caffeine needs to
improviser.
kick in. This caffeine needs to kick in. So, but I'm just saying, Edge, like Edge, he's so fun. But
Yeah.
anyway, the smoke, those memes of when the smoke and then he enters.
Yeah.
First off, they're
The
so
one that
great because
Tulo made of me.
oh my god, that was so
is-
funny. It was you vaping on the podcast,
Yeah.
and then Edge came out of your vape smoke.
Yeah, it's the best.
What's perfect about it is that it gets me every time. I never expect it.
No, yeah. When he sent it again recently, I'm like, what the fuck is this video of me? And then it happened.
Oh man, it's so funny. This is always like 2009 Edge too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with peak Edge.
Yeah, with the SmackDown fist in the background.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He's
It was
like,
like, you know, I was watching that, and then I was watching the meme. It was actually a lot of people, tremendous amount of people, have been sending me this. It's kind of a popular meme right now.
Mhm.
Is like, if wrestling is fake, then explain this. You've seen
Right.
those?
Yes.
So I'm getting sent those. Like Buyer sent me one. My friend who's a director of TV, like he directs a lot of episodes of Always Sunny and shit.
Yeah.
He sent me one. They're not like hardcore wrestling fans, but they're sending it to me, and they're clips.
Is that the one I think it is?
Well, there's the Kali one.
Well, the person you're talking about, the friend who directs him Always Sunny.
My friend
Is it
Heath.
Oh no, never mind.
No. My friend Heath.
Moving on.
My friend Heath. Heath Cullens, tremendous director, tremendous guy. Tremendous director of television, film, cinema. Anyway. I was saying, so they're sending it to me. The buyer sent me one. The one I was sent, the one, it was Shawn wrestling Hogan. You saw that one?
Yes.
From SummerSlam 2005?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And so, like, when people watch it, I got to get somebody on. Actually, I'll do that for the first Patreon bonus app. I'll show these clips because I want to know what people's reaction to it is, because it's like, all right, so when I'm watching that Shawn clip, if you haven't seen it, it's basically Shawn, like, overselling Hogan because Hogan's older. And apparently the rumors were that, like, Hogan only wanted to do one match. Shawn wanted to do more. So Hogan was just going over. So Shawn was like, all right, you want to go over? Fine. I'll let you, like, ridiculously kick my ass, right? But
Is that kind of a fuck you?
yes,
Like,
it's definitely a fuck you. It's definitely a fuck you.
in such like a funny way too, because it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sell it, but I'm gonna sell it in a way that makes it obviously fake,
Right.
which is like the other end of like not selling it. You know?
Yes, but the interesting thing is, like, when someone watches it, like Nicole sends me it, right?
Yeah.
Their mind is like, the base reality of wrestling is that these guys are trying to make this fight look real, right?
Right.
So they're watching it, and they're the joke in their mind. Because Nicole sent me Ricochet versus Osprey, which is even more interesting,
Right.
right? Because we don't watch that as marks. We're not watching that being like,
Whoa, they're fighting.
like this is a real fight happening, right?
Whoa. Do they know it's not real?
Right, we're watching like two talents flexing. We're also used to watching the indie scene, which has no story. Every match is essentially
We're watching
exhibition.
fucking John Mayer and Eric Clapton at the fucking Jimi Hendrix tribute concert at the Bowl.
At the Crossroads.
And they're just fucking shredding, dude.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my last bite, by the way. It's not. This is not for anyone aspiring podcasters out there. This is not how it's done.
You're
okay?
listening to The Last Bite with Dan Black.
Comedians of the last bite.
Kings of the Last Bite.
Kings of the last bite. Unite. Wait, I need a song for this.
It has to be. It has to be Malachi.
Kings of the last bite. Grab your swords. Get
Hold on,
off
I'm
your
not done.
horse.
Hold on, I'm not done eating.
Hold on.
I have one more bite.
Chop, 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 chop. Yeah. Fun fact about McIntyre, people don't know.
What is happening?
He eats in Gorilla. He's always finishing a sandwich before he enters. And then, oh shit! And then he crumbles up the wax paper and throws it.
Gets one little last sip of his drink, and then he goes out.
That's a fun fact about Drew.
Yeah.
People don't know that. He is
Always on the precipice of having been eating.
this Scottish sandwich path. I don't have anything. But listen, folks. We were talking. Listen, I'm so derailed. What the fuck were we talking about? We were talking about Edge.
Yeah, about 30 minutes ago. No, we were talking about like watching wrestlers.
So,
yeah,
it's interesting because they're just like, oh my god, is it like they think that we're fucking a bit touched, right? They're
right.
like, we think that this is like real fighting or something,
right.
or even if we don't think it's real fighting, that we think it's like somehow a good form of combat or something, right? And
I would, yeah. No, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
well, no, I'm just saying it's not like what they don't understand is like everything in wrestling, it's so hard to describe. It's the most impossible thing to describe to someone.
Right.
Is like we're thinking about what's going on behind the scenes as much as what we're watching.
Right.
So you're more thinking like what's going through. It's as important to think about why is Sean overselling,
Right.
as opposed to like what I'm actually watching.
Or I mean, imagine watching like Westworld and also watching like a a AI robot horror show for the entertainment, and then also watching it at the same level and same intensity, wondering like how Ed Harris's performance is going to affect his like trajectory in this show when it comes to like literally the director and the producer sitting down and like all of that at the same time.
Yes.
And I would even argue what I was about to say was that meme, somebody like Nicole, like somebody like who doesn't watch wrestling,
Right.
sending that to you.
By the way, Nicole's never shitting on it. I just want to point that out. Nicole's always
No.
just like, she thinks it's a blast. She's like a UCB
100%,
person. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like somebody who is like isn't a mark sending that. It's like that meme is actually from our perspective.
Right.
Right. It's like we say that it's like a joke from us.
That's a
like,
great
oh, you
point.
think it's fake? Explain this.
We kind of
Right.
do it to make each other laugh in a way.
Right.
Yeah, but then they get a hold of it and they're just like, look at this fucking stupid ass shit.
Look at that.
All right, anyway, let's move on because there's so much to talk about. And I'm going to start with Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
I'm going to start in. Okay, so I was glad I posted this. I posted this in the Comedians of Wrestling. It's still named the old name of the podcast. It's not Comedians of Bono yet. But the Comedians of Wrestling podcast, I posted in the Facebook group, and I got to get better about posting this, like my impulsive thoughts in the Discord, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, my brain still goes to Facebook, even though they had dropped users for the first time in 18 years, right?
What happened? Oh, people are leaving Facebook?
Facebook reported this is their first time they had less users on
Yeah,
every
'cause-
day it's gone up. This is the first day it went down. I think
Yeah.
that's if I understood it correctly.
because nobody, not a lot of people are signing up for it new, and all the people who use it are so old that they're dying.
Yes. So, the stock went down pretty much. Actually, I got to talk to a friend about that. But anyway, I posted because I was watching SmackDown. I said Charlotte promo on SmackDown was heel as fuck. I said AF. I'm hip.
Yep.
The most interestingly, wow, tough.
You want to take that again? Third try?
Familiarity. Okay. What was the word that I was trying to help Christina with the other day? And we both couldn't say it. It was like, it was like,
Ridicio.
no, it wasn't relatability. It was like, like a version of retaliate.
What makes you think you're going to be able to say it now?
Retaliatory was maybe what it was. Like
Okay.
a retaliatory.
Yeah.
But now I'm really not struggling with it, so I don't understand. Anyway, folks. But most interestingly, the crowd, that was fine. The crowd barely reacted. I have a lot to say about this on the pod. And now I'm here on the pod, Newman. Charlotte gets on the mic. Okay, SmackDown this week. This SmackDown was rough, okay?
Yeah.
So the main event of it. Okay, so let's and I posted that and I had someone who's boots on the ground, a listener, Kellen Hodginson. He said, I was in the crowd and everyone was pretty thrown off because of the Ronda thing. She'd been built up throughout the night and is appearing in the main event. Then Sonya just comes out and flatly announces Ronda has chosen Becky. Kind of killed the promo because the crowd thought we've been swerved out of a Ronda appearance and made us expect a new challenger like Sasha might be about to enter. I agree. Charlotte's promo was super heel. Loved it. She definitely has the star factor like Roman, though, where OKC was just happy to see her to some extent. Okay. Is that Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Was just happy to see her. Got it. I didn't know where they were. All right. Thank you for that. So that was like cool boots on the ground because so the way it is, it's exactly what he described. So they say Ronda's going to be on the show tonight. They literally say it's her first time ever on SmackDown, right?
Right.
But the way it's booked is like Sonya comes out and she's just like, Ronda chose, it's exactly what he said. All of a sudden, you're like, all right, I know Ronda's going to be here tonight. You go, Ronda chose Becky. So you're like, okay, but is she still here? Like, that doesn't, nothing in WWE is ever clear. It's the same thing as, how does Brock get to be 30 in the Rumble? Like, Shane got fired over this. Simple, like, have justifications, do the work, you know?
It
It's
even
like,
goes back to the thing that I said, like, years ago.
Yes.
What in kayfabe is WWE? What is this business?
Right.
What do they do? Why
no,
do
no.
they exist?
Right now, it's a full-on circus. Like, that's the only way to describe it. It's a man in the top hat less circus, right?
And instead of tigers in
Ringmaster.
cages,
Is it a ringmaster?
instead of tigers in cages, it's Rybacks in cages.
Exactly. It's Ryback's future endeavored.
Check out the new Ryback exhibit in the Future Endeavors.
Well, there is a Hall of Fame now. They're going to have to open a future endeavored Hall of Fame wing for the WWE, right? Like there's like the Warrior wing, there's the future endeavored wing. It's like Big Cass and fucking.
I mean, that would be Malachi Black, fucking Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman. That'd be a hell of a wing. Maybe in many respects better than the Hall of Fame.
By the way, this felt like a week of. I don't even need to get into it, but this felt like a week where there was a lot of cancel culture going on. Right?
What do you mean?
There's a lot of canceling. There was something in wrestling. Tony Khan took Brian Kendrick. I didn't even see what he said. I just saw Tony's tweet. I don't even know. I don't know what he said. There was that. There was the Whoopi Goldberg thing. There was the Joe Rogan thing. It was like it was a lot of. Are
we mad at Whoopi Goldberg?
No.
I
mean, I'm a Jewish person. It's not that I'm mad at Whoopi Goldberg. Like what she said, I disagreed with.
Right.
But like. It's literally a talk show. They're talking.
She got it wrong.
She got it wrong, and then she apologized. What are we doing?
Right. It's Whoopi Goldberg. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Leave her alone.
Her last name's Goldberg. That's
She's allowed to say it.
Because I thought we were getting Reigns versus Whoopi.
Man, Whoopi would take his ass
Open
out.
a can of whoopee ass.
Oh my God, there's so many wrestling-related puns you could do with Whoopi Goldberg. That's why we love her.
I just think look. Well, I had
Leave her
a thing.
alone.
Somebody sent me this Jimmy
Leave her
Carr
alone.
joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even want to get into it.
Get into it. Fuck it.
None of us have the representation to talk about it. You know what I mean?
We're not British.
No, he makes a Holocaust joke, and I
Right.
was on a chain with people, and they were like, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. Because here was my thing was that like I understand how this joke's insensitive, but it's like also there's another layer which is like it's also this joke's being told in Britain. He's a British guy. They have different sensibilities. Like, watch the American Office versus the British Office, you know?
Right.
Like, they're willing to go. This audience laughs at it. They're willing to go further. I don't have boots on the ground over there. I don't know. They might be more tolerant. I don't even fucking know. You know what I mean? And also, whatever. It is what it is.
Also, he's a fucking edgy comic.
He's very edgy. It's like, what drives me nuts is just how we draw these arbitrary lines about who's allowed to cross them and whatnot. It's like no one even tries to touch the South Park guys. No one, right? You know, like no one even tries to touch those guys. No one's going after Howard Stern anymore. He's saying a lot of the same shit. You know what I mean? And then what?
It's because you said there's a lot of cancel culture going on, and I think.
Well, I wish I didn't say cancel. You know what I mean? Let's put that in quotes. Cancel culture, like that term is too.
One might take it out of quotes too. It's what you mean is, some people said some things, and then other people were upset by those things.
Yeah, it's okay. Mel Gibson's allowed to make be nominated for Oscars still. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's arbitrary punishment culture, right? You know,
right?
People make mistakes. Look how they handle it. Whoopi Goldberg handled that fine. You know what I mean? I don't like what she said. I'm a Jewish person, right? You think I like? You think I like that? Does it feel when you're Jewish? I didn't even understand the perspective. It feels like there's these forces out there trying to, and it happens as we get further and further away, trying to downplay the significance and the destruction of it. And there's more. This sounds insane to say, but I think it's more Nazi sympathy than I've ever seen ever felt in my life in this country. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's insane. So I understand that, and I still understand that Whoopi Goldberg is a person on the right side of history who was having a conversation and got it wrong, right?
Right.
So it's like I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how we got into all that. We were literally talking about Charlotte. Let's just jump back into Charlotte because this is such a wormhole, you know. Yeah. But we have to stop. The bottom line is most people feel this way that I do. Yeah. Most people are like, I got so much. I got shit to do. You know.
Right. Yeah. I will say though that the Joe Rogan thing, it's interesting just because we'll move on right after this. It's interesting because the criticisms and stuff that are coming up now are very surface level to what the real problem with like Joe Rogan and his show as a concept is, and the damage that it's actually doing. Like all the N-word stuff and all the which is horrible, and all the like everything. But he's a comic, he's an edgy comic, right? So like, but that's all surface stuff. The stuff that he says and does on the show is surface stuff. That his influence, as a concept, is damaging. So it's like,
sure, but
we have to move past the surface stuff.
So there's a good point to be made there, because it's like you can argue that he has guests on his show who would be more popular, and that might make the show lean a certain way, right? Because he plays the intellectual curiosity card, which I also understand. And that's I understand he's like, I get the want to be like, I want to sit down and hear what these people have to say, right? I understand that. But now his response, I thought, was very level. I'm not even a Rogan apologist or anything. I'm just saying. Right. I mean, I am a comedian defender. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
So his response was like, you know what? I need to have more both sides of each argument, because my show does have such a big reach, and so I'm like, I felt like that was a smart thing to say. And then they're like, we'll put a disclaimer at the front of the show. He was very cool with that. I don't know. It felt like that seemed okay for me. I don't know. But I also love that artists like Neil Young actually still have power. You know, I also thought that was fucking cool. I think
Right.
I have so many opinions on it. I think it's cool that artists are like, I'm gonna pull my stuff off of this platform that feels like they own the music business, and it makes their stock tank. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's cool to me also. Like, Neil Young's allowed to be like, fuck this place. They support this guy too.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
Right.
I think all that. And then also, you also have to have another third. You have to have a third eye open, which is that who wants to take down a guy like Joe Rogan? It's hard to ignore the fact that, like, he is a pirate ship, right, that is running away with the how media is run traditionally, right? Like,
Right.
traditional media, it's like CNN. It's like they have advertisers, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? They have, and there's a lot of money on the line when their news, when it becomes obsolete, what they do, you know? And then you have a dude who's like, I'm going to do it my own way, and I'm going to do
Right.
it long form. And let's not even say it's a conspiracy. These people are just going to be flat out jealous of what he's doing. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
It just sucks that the guy who is doing that is a stone cold fucking dumb ass. And
I never
and
find
has
Joe
to
Rogan to be a dumbass, personally.
no, listen,
yeah.
I'll explain why.
Yeah.
Because if you hear one side of the argument saying, you know, I just want to be alive, I want to live my life and be alive. And then one side and the other side is going, I don't think you should be alive. I think you shouldn't exist. And you're sitting in the middle going, I think both of these arguments have merit and we should like hear them like both out.
Well,
You're a
that's
dumbass.
Yeah, that's my one argument against, and we have to jump to wrestling just for time, but because this would be ever, and I don't even mind. We could do a whole other podcast on this. Like, I'd be down for that.
Right.
But what I would say is that, like, my argument against Joe Rogan, and I would admit that, and I'm not against him. I've actually interacted with him a couple times. He was very nice. You know what I mean?
I'm sure.
But I would not that
I don't
putting
think
myself
he's
in
a
any-
bad person.
No.
I
What
think
I'm-
he's a dumbass and he's a dumbass in control of a media empire that is the mainstream. He gets like hundreds of millions of downloads a month. He is the mainstream.
How I agree. I mean, literally, the White House press secretary talked about him.
Yeah.
At a briefing. You know what I'm saying? She had what's her name? Jen Psaki? Is her name? Like, she had an actual opinion about Joe Rogan's podcast. Do you understand? Like,
Right.
that's huge. Now, that being said, this was the number one news story. You know what I mean? Like, listen, look, we're wrestling fans. The Heat, he is now elevated to a extremely high degree. The Heat,
Right.
he is now a main eventer. Do you understand? Like,
Right.
you know, right? Like, Joe Rogan
Right.
could literally wrestle Brock. If he
Right.
came in and if he called Vince and said, I want to wrestle Brock, they would
could.
do it.
Yep.
You understand how famous he is now from this?
Right. Right.
That's why there's all heat is good heat, so don't get fucking worked. You know what I mean?
And you
when
know
you're
what?
typing somebody's name, you're making them more famous. It just
I
is how it
would
is.
love
Which is
to
why
see Brock. Yeah.
you would love to. Which is why I just want to say this last point. Which is why it's the same thing as how do you justify having Alex Jones on your podcast when he says stuff like crisis actors and blah blah blah, and that's not the only thing you're talking about.
Well,
like the Sandy Hook thing, I'm not going to move past that. Like
Dan,
that's
but
too
Dan-
far for me. You know,
Dan, but Dan, we have to hear both sides of the argument. Like, we live in
There's
a
no
world of
second
ideas.
side.
No, we live
Yeah.
in a world of ideas, Dan. And like these ideas have to go to battle with each other, so we know which ones are the best ones, Dan.
Charlotte
so-
Flair. Just moving on. Just to move on. Newman, you made a
Stupid.
great.
It's fucking stupid.
You made a great point. It's a
Okay.
great point. Sometimes there is no second side. That's a
Right.
great point. Charlotte Flair, because I'm going to get into heat because this ties in here. Charlotte Flair, they announced that Ronda's chosen Becky. It's so arbitrary. Sonya just says it in the middle of the ring. Okay.
Right.
Then Charlotte comes out, and then Charlotte is responding like that. The crowd's extremely confused, but you heard boots on the ground because they're like, we're supposed to see Ronda choose. Did she choose? Is this a work? What is that?
Right.
Completely unclear storytelling from WWE.
Yeah.
An absolute piece of shit television show at this point. I just want to let people know. It's a piece of shit, okay? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful flower. You know what I mean? Like, the production quality is so high, but it is so bad. I have nothing else to say. After coming off the Rumble, me watching Raw, Smack, I'm trying my fucking best. The show is worse than ever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
At the most exciting time, you know? So then Charlotte comes out. She cuts this promo. Thank God she's fucking great. If she goes to AEW, I will clap. Like, now after watching this, I'm like, this woman is so fucking talented at this point. She's Super Saiyan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she looks
yeah, yeah.
incredible. And she's cutting this promo, and this promo was so good. Her promo was, yeah, of course you chose Becky. The two moms are going to wrestle it out. You know what I mean? She's like, your mom's is like, I'm here. Like, I'm the mother of championships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, look, that's fucking heel. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you come here with your like, you guys are moms because you're second tier now because you had babies.
Right.
And you're like, that's so fucked up. But she's a heel. That's great.
It's amazing.
Heat. The crowd's doing nothing. They're not booing this or anything. Which, thanks God to this guy boots on the ground because he's like, they're confused as shit. You know what I mean? They're like, what the fuck am I watching? Is Ronda coming? Is she not? And then, Charlotte chooses Sasha. So you're expecting Sasha's music to hit, but like you can kind of tell that like she didn't really choose Sasha. It wasn't like a big like when you choose somebody, you go like, I'll choose Sasha Banks, and then like the music would hit, and then you're like, then instead it could be Ronda's music. Okay, it goes on a little longer. Ronda comes out, and everyone's like, oh, Ronda's here, and then she comes out, and then she talks shit, and then she beats up Sonya, whatever, but then she chooses Charlotte.
Right.
So now she's wrestling Charlotte. Like, everyone's just like, what? What the fuck did I just watch? So you have these Charlotte, who's on another level as a performer, cutting a great promo, but there's base reality of this show, like you said, what is the show, is nothing. It's a complete crumbling, confusing foundation. Not to mention that Ronda's a straight-up charisma suck on top, which is like maybe what they're trying to avoid, having her speak even more.
Right.
But, like, whatever. Now, I if you want to play the like bomb power angle, that's pretty interesting. But whatever. Clearly they're going for that. Clearly that triple threat is happening at Mania, right? It's very clear. They're running it back. And I think it's the right match. Just do it again, But this is last time they made it shitty, and this time they made it shitty. And I'm not going to spend another fucking 5 years of my life, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting caught up in, like, I'm watching them run the same shit back, And it's not even done well. It's like, the show is in the fucking shitter. Like, the shitter. And all they do is fire guys that they rehire back. Oh, Shane's fired. Then he comes back. Oh, bringing back Bruce Pritchard. Bring in some real fucking Hollywood people. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bring in some real fucking writers. Right. I'll go in there and fix that show in 20 minutes. Bring me, Peter Hoare, Dan St. Germain, Mike Lawrence. Like, these are a list of guys who can come in and make Raw great again. Right? Like, instantly, folks.
Here's 4 white guys who are going to make wrestling great again.
It is.
The messaging
Ignore
works.
that fact. Ignore that fact.
The messaging, and I think the optics are great.
No, we'll bring in one. We'll bring in one international person.
An international person.
What
the fuck does that mean, international?
I was trying to make the Austin Powers joke. I mean, I dug myself further.
International.
Yo, fuck you, Newman. All right, what do you know? What? It's the week of canceling. Cancel me because I want the four jokesmen. Okay. The four jokesmen, which is me, Mike Lawrence, Dave. Who did I name? There's so many more great people. I know a great comedian wrestling guy, Jay Washington. I did a show with him. He's fucking great. He's awesome. Jermaine Fowler loves wrestling. The Lucas brothers. These are guys that are friends of this podcast. Bring in fucking Nicole Byer.
Yeah. She's international.
She's not international. Okay? All right, that's on you. Fuck you, bro.
We should start a faction. We should find 2 other guys, and we're the 4 worsemen.
The 4 jerksmen.
Well, that's not.
That's not anything. It wasn't funny or anything. The caffeine's hitting.
Yeah.
But anyway, great promo. So I'm going to applaud what's good, okay? And what's good in WWE is their talent. They have some tremendous talent. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Charlotte is one of them. She's fucking great. Okay? Yeah. She's on and whatever. I don't even know if she's being like an asshole backstage or not. But shoot, I feel like she goes in the back there and she literally pees on people. Okay? Right. You know what I mean? Like, she is in a zone where I think she goes back there, she walks back, and Andrade's and Gorilla, and Vince is like, this guy doesn't work here anymore. He's not allowed here. And she's like, shut the fuck up, Vince. You know what I mean? Fire me. I don't care. I'm a Flair. Like, that's the zone that she's in right now, and it fucking works. You know? So, I love it.
They should do that.
Great.
They
And
should
Beck,
fucking do that. Just have Andrade back there. He doesn't belong here. That would be amazing.
they should do so like I don't know AEW shit. If they did like an AEW invasion or something, you know what I mean? I don't even think it would make AEW get more viewers. You know what I mean? So I think
Right.
it would just it would bring people maybe back up. I don't know. Sami Zayn, they have to fire because he's a great talent, but they've poisoned him. He needs to go. You know what I mean? They have to fire him because of what a joke they've turned him into.
Right.
I mean, he's literally just a jackass member now. But whatever. All right. So Becky cut a great promo on Monday. Also, she came out. Becky on Raw was fucking great. Okay. I don't know what the fuck she's doing with her look now. She literally was dressed like an actual she looked like Ronald McDonald. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, she looks like a sim when you have like a 20 gigabyte fucking custom like costume folder.
Exactly.
It's just, like, randomized.
If you hit randomize with your bin or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly. I always say, like, your Big Daddy, it's like the kid who dresses himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's just dressed like wearing like fucking
When
big galoshes and shit. You know what I mean? And no shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When your creative character, it's like that meme when your creative character shows up in a cutscene.
Exactly.
It's just like random.
That's so funny. You look like an asshole, but you're in like a fucking haunted mansion or whatever.
Right.
Side note, I mean, I picked up, I feel like for my brain, I was like, I want to have a video game outlet. So I play Fortnite with my nephews now, you know?
Yeah.
And that's fun. And so I got that, but then I was like, I need a game for me. So now I've been playing a little bit of it. I'm playing Metal Gear Solid.
Which one?
The good one, Phantom or whatever.
Phantom Limb or whatever it's called.
Yeah, whatever. The one that what I did is I was just Googled because I've been so out of gaming for so long. The franchises I used to like when I was like hard. If a new release came out, I played it. Metal Gear Solid, Devil May Cry, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I liked Hitman. I liked Hitman. By the way, is like the game's never that good, but the concept of Hitman I really like. I like stealth mission based stuff as opposed to just like first person shooting. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like, oh, you have to figure out. It's a puzzle. Like you have to like sneak into this mansion, assassinate a guy without anybody noticing, and like you like steal a waiter's costume. Like that. All that I thought was very fun, but the game was never that good. Maybe they had a good version.
You ever play Assassin's Creed?
I never played Assassin's Creed. Really,
Dude,
I
you
played
would
it
love it. That's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay,
It's
so I'll get
sneaking
Assassin's
around.
Creed.
Yeah, Valhalla, the most recent one, is incredible. Incredible.
Really? All right.
Yes.
I'll get. Can I just start right from that game?
Yeah,
You don't
it
have to
doesn't
like pick up the old ones.
No.
Yeah. Like that. I'm forgetting all the other franchises I played, but I had like the ones I would play. You know, but Resident Evil is my number one game. Like I just played 2 during the pandemic. I rebeat the reboot of that. Resident Evil 2, fucking great. Resident Evil 4 was a great game. I remember. Love Resident Evil. But we love it, don't we, folks? All right.
We love
anyway,
Brother Corporation.
Everything you look up says Red Dead Redemption 2 is like the best Xbox One game. But I don't like Grand Theft Auto really. It's too open world for me. Like I like more to like follow a game that's
rails.
more because I get overwhelmed. Like I don't care enough to do side missions and like explore. Like I appreciate the concept of
then
open world.
Maybe you won't like Assassin's Creed then, because it is open world, but it's stealth.
I like campaign mode stuff.
Missions, but
I like campaign modes.
Yeah.
Like I like to beat the game and then I'm done with it. You know?
Right.
Anyway, irrelevant. So let's jump to Goldberg. So show up as a Goldberg. I called that Goldberg would be wrestling Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's everybody take a second before we shit on Goldberg, okay? So I like to say this. This is likely going to be Goldberg's last match, right?
Okay.
So, hello everybody. Excuse me. Is this Jeddah? Jeddah?
The country?
Is this Jeddah? Am I Jeddah? By the way, how does he get in there? He's a Jewish guy. Can you go to Saudi Arabia if you're Jewish?
Because they decide that their stupid, arbitrary fucking stuff doesn't mean anything for a second.
Yeah. Also, he's when he goes up, he changes his last name.
Yeah.
He goes over his passport.
It's Al Goldberg. AL
His passport says Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's shocking they can't get Stone Cold to do a match in Saudi. Can you imagine the money they would give him? Like, obviously, it would hurt him so bad. His body would be so fucked up. But literally, they might give him $50 million for 10 minutes, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Literally 50. Like, if you're the Prince of Saudi Arabia, you have pretty much unlimited coin, right? You're like, yo, they did it for Sean. They brought Sean back. 50, like, they're probably like, yo, what is Stone Cold? Like, we want to be the country that gets a Stone Cold match. We make $50 million.
Right.
You think Stone Cold can't eke out? It would have to. It would eke. Yo, you don't think they could pay? All right. If the Prince of Saudi Arabia was such a mark, and he wants to give $500 million, right? He could get Bret Hart, Stone Cold, run it back. You know what I mean?
For $500 million?
I'll give you guys
$250
Yo,
million
for
each?
$200 million. For $100 million, Stone Cold's is putting on trunks. Okay, right?
Right.
Let's
training
be honest.
for
For
3 months
$50 million,
beforehand.
he's putting on trunks. Right or wrong?
Yeah, I know. You're right.
For $20 million, he's putting on trunks. I don't know why I'm going so high. Like I'm overhyping Stone Cold. For $10 million, Stone Cold probably would do a match. No, not 10.
10.
I think 10.
10's
No,
too low.
he's got enough money. $10 million's too low.
Right.
But all right, for $100 million, this Prince could make us run back WrestleMania 13. Right?
Right. Also, super sidebar. Then we'll get right back to it. The amount of times that we say the phrase "too low" for knowing someone whose last name is too low is insane. Anyway, back to we say it all the time because I.
Well,
always
that's on
think
him. That's on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eat my ass, Timberlake. Yo,
I don't know. Like, I wonder what their like net worth is like in real life. Like what Stone Cold's is. Like what is $50 million to Stone Cold?
I'm telling you
Is
that Stone
double
Cold
his net worth is
I would be shocked if he turned down $10 million, to be honest, to wrestle.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is just pure pride because these wrestlers are all about like hanging it up. But like Sean doing that match didn't hurt his career. Like everyone. It's the same thing as like the cancel culture stuff. Not to come back to it, where it's like you think somebody saying something is like everyone's like, wow, that's really gonna affect. And you're like, you know, how quick we run through these news cycles. No one's remembering any of this shit anymore. So it's like I didn't even remember Sean did that match. I don't even think I watched it. You know what I mean?
I definitely didn't.
So it's like Stone Cold, you're not gonna if he wants to take $10 million, you know, to have a match and then it ends up being shitty. You think I'm not gonna still put him on my Mount Rushmore? There's nothing he could do, you know. Anyway, so Goldberg's back. This is gonna be his last match. His last match at Saudi was good. If you didn't see it, Lashley versus Goldberg, they brought it. He just speared him off the ramp for the finish, and Goldberg won. He beat Bobby Lashley. We were also supposed to see this match 2 years ago, and here's the fucking other part, is that when it came down to it, and I know this is fucked up because Roman is immunocompromised, this match was supposed to happen 2 years ago, and guess who showed up? Goldberg showed up, not Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now that's my other beef, is why is Goldberg not saying that? Why does he come out and just cut a generic "you're next" promo? He should come out and be like, hey, I see you showed up for work. You owe me a match from 2 years ago because you were scared of a virus, you pussy. Like, just say something cutting, right? Now, look, we know it's insensitive. It's wrestling. He's coaxing him into a fight.
Right.
That's why you need the dream team. Me, Michael Otis, Terrence and Jermaine. Who was the other one?
Austin Powers.
Jermaine Fowler. Oh, and Austin Powers. Yeah. We didn't. Like, this shit is so easy, right? That was literally just follow the truth there, but instead he's like, hey, you're next. And it's like, no one cares about Goldberg unless you bring in some truth to why Goldberg would be here, you know?
Right. Why is Goldberg here?
And then the other part of it is that this is right before Mania. So it's like now you have Becky wrestling Lita, like in the chamber, Lita. You're like, this is fucking distracting from Mania, you know?
Right.
Which plays to Tulo's big point, which is always like, the WWE is now a Saudi company, right? Like they only care about the Saudi shit, you know?
Right.
But yeah, so now we have Becky versus Lita. I mean, whatever, that's gonna happen, and then we're gonna have Roman versus Goldberg. So those are like your two big champions who have throwaway matches at the pay-per-view at the lead up, you know? Now, do they have Fastlane? I don't think they do anymore. I think Chamber is the last pay-per-view before Mania.
I think you're right. They got rid of like those other like 3 or 4.
So anyway, so whatever. So that's what I was watching. So look, what's going on in the world? Brock, it was fun. Brock came out, cut a promo on Monday. That was fun. I talked about that on the bonus pod. I don't know what Mania is gonna look like. The guy who told me the Tiki Bar, he thought that Brock was gonna main event. I don't think he'll main event, but I do think Brock is gonna wrestle Lashley and Roman at Mania. He's gonna wrestle on both nights. So this way they have Brock as a spectacle for both nights for the crowd.
Probably. I can't believe he would do that though. Like, if I'm Brock Lesnar, like, I don't know that I would.
It's definitely a risk. He could get hurt. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if he wrestles Lashley night one, that match is gonna be fucking brutal. Like those guys beat the shit out of each other. You know. So I don't know. I guess they're big guys, so they won't like do anything. But they're older. You know what I mean? That's for damn sure. Whatever. I think what you do is you have this is what I do. Here's how I book Mania. I have Brock, Lashley, night one.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on what they've set up. This is not what I would actually book if I could book Mania. And then the next night you have Brock, Seth, Roman. Rematch. You know?
Yeah.
You know? And then you have that triple threat. And have Seth go over again. You know? And then start spending your time right now turning Seth back into Burn It Down. Seth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Him and his wife need to stop dressing like the kid from Big Daddy. Okay, it's enough already. All right, that's what I do. That's what's going on there. So yeah, WWE. I don't know. They're gonna. I don't even know what matches people could care about besides the mains at all. You know, it's gonna be that Ronda match, which no one is excited for Ronda at all. It just I get fuck man, WWE in a weird zone. And they've buried AJ, a wrestler that we would care about.
Isn't it weird? It's like WWE. They decided they were like, okay, so we just lost the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fire a lot of people, a lot of interesting people, and then we're gonna do this last 2 years over again, but without the interesting people. And let's see how that goes.
I don't know what they're not thinking very long term over there. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And that's very clear. They just reported their highest revenue ever. You know?
Yeah, but that's
So that whole budget cut shit is bullshit, right?
It's higher because their costs are lower.
Yeah, but their costs are lower. But even if you look at their cost, the roster cost is gotta be like the guys they were paying. They paid Bray. And by the way, do you see these pictures of Skylar and Dipperstein at Rob McPhee's wedding last night? Looking on Instagram, they're chilling with Bray. Bray was a guest at the wedding.
Oh, really?
Straight up Wyndham Rotunda at the wedding. Open shirt with the fucking, with his fucking crazy eagle tattoo popping through, on his or the wolf tattoo on his chest, right? Look it up.
Oh yeah.
So all their Instagrams.
He let him in.
He let him in. There's one picture. It's I think it's Dipperstein and Ratner, like two guys I watch wrestling with, and then they got photobombed by fucking Bray in the back.
It's great.
I had tremendous FOMO for this, by the way. I want to hang out with Bray Wyatt so bad,
Yeah. I would just be like, hey man, like
Yeah.
I
mean, listen, I have a lot of questions, and they're going to be personal, so. And
like, what are you talking about, man?
Yo, I want to so let's jump over to AEW, okay?
Yeah,
so AEW, obviously, very fucking front right now. I'll focus a little bit on one thing about I want to ask you. I asked Tulo this. I want Moxie to change up. I don't like the Wild Thing song. Is that a hot take or no?
It's a hot take.
I like that it gets the crowd going, so I see why to keep it. It doesn't drive me nuts or whatever.
Yeah.
But like this song, like this to me captures energy way more.
Sure.
You know? And I don't know what I would put. Like, this feels so much more like how when he's entering this whole thing. Like, Wild Thing is kind of jokey. You know, it's like, there's a little bit of ironic detachment for me. It's like
It's kind of babyface too.
I mean, he is a babyface though, but
yeah, but no, I don't know if he's
like
a
Major
babyface.
League. I think of like Major League.
Right.
Like you know, like with Charlie Sheen.
He should still come out to some sort of like garage rock, you know, thing. But like, yeah, I don't know. I like it.
You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. It's like a little, it doesn't, and then I don't know, it doesn't fucking, it just, like, it's a great idea, but then ultimately it does not work for me. But that being said, I feel like I might be in the minority on that. But we get in the Daniel Bryan Moxley shit is fucking awesome. I watched Rampage. I'm trying to think what, well, Adam Cole cut a promo.
Mm-hmm.
He had a match. And I will always say this. Adam Cole needs writing. He is going for a thing which is like, I am like a path of destruction. And it's like, he's cutting promos like he's huge. It's like, man, some of you guys are come so down on me. I feel like he's so misguided. Like, he needs way more character to make up for his size, you know?
Yeah.
And what he's doing is a little bit just like, I'm like such a great wrestler and blah, blah, blah. It feels like, well, this small guy's popular, so we're letting him win.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, right?
Yeah, he's a bard who's multi-classing as like a barbarian, and he just doesn't have the skill points.
He needs to be surrounded by more paladins, okay?
Right.
He needs... Yeah, like, exactly. He's like playing a barbarian. Like, it's like, he's like, I'm running through here. Look, I'm undefeated. It's like, MJF is, first off, bigger than Adam Cole. I know I get caught up in size, but Adam Cole's size is something you have to bring up. Like, when you turn on this show, you're going to be like, this guy, like, well, okay, he needs to be more interesting. He needs to do more interesting shit. And, like, Undisputed Era was kind of interesting. They had a hand signal, right?
Right.
You know,
it felt like a crime syndicate or something, which is what his lane is.
Like, I wanted way more from it, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted like way more from it, but at least now it's just not, like he feels like he's going backwards. Now, he cut his promo, and in his promo he was kind of like, "Hey everyone, just so you know, I'm a new version of myself." Blah blah blah. It's like, I don't know, man. You're saying like "baby" and you're going boom, and now you just like don't have the crew around you that we all liked a lot. So for me, I don't know. I don't know what to do with Adam Cole, but I would not be scared if I'm AEW to really shake up Adam Cole, baby.
Right.
You know, I've always thought about Adam Cole on a motorcycle. I don't know why, like not a motorcycle, like a Kawasaki Ninja. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it works.
Like a gang of that. Like I would. I mean,
we're the diamonds. We're the fucking diamonds. Yeah.
Something. But anyway, I don't know exactly what to do with him.
I need the codes.
But I just wouldn't be scared to try things with Adam Cole. I know he's like a big property in that, but I'm worried that he's going to stay a little, I don't know, just stay like a little
You're saying he's disputed.
I'm saying I'm disputing him, but anyone gives me a lot of shit because I'm not the biggest fan, you know? Like, he has a tremendous amount of talent. Like, don't get me wrong, you know? Anyway, what's going on?
I also think it's interesting that people like Kevin Owens get called out for like not taking care, like not or Eddie Kingston get called out for like not working outside of the ring, not taking care of their bodies and shit. But then like Adam Cole, who has a more normal shaped body, doesn't face that same heat.
Well, he is in shape though. He's like arguably jacked even. He's just a petite man.
I would not call him.
He's
jacked.
built like Arlen.
Neither of those men I would call jacked.
I've seen him in person a lot. He's like petite, right? He's got like small shoulder. I mean, we're getting so caught up in this, but it's like I was looking at pictures.
Unhealthy degree.
I was like Christina was asking me. She was like, "Yo, who's your favorite wrestler or whatever? Like, who's got you into wrestling?" I was like, "Ultimate Warrior." So I was
Yeah.
I was like showing her pictures, sending her pictures of Ultimate Warrior, you know.
You just showed her the lock screen on your phone. You were like, it's Ultimate Warrior.
Exactly, and it's you know, uh, uh, yeah. So I don't know. Like, listen. I understand I'm a body guy, but man, when I'm watching AEW, the things I'm thinking about are, and we should get right to this.
Yeah.
Is Malachi, which I want to talk to you about,
Yeah.
and then I'm thinking about how do we get Wardlow to where he needs to be, and he might arguably already be there. You know,
Yeah.
Wardlow, that's like a guy like that's my Adam Cole, baby. Wardlow, baby.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential.
Ward, Lolo. All right. What's going on in the stuff that I'm not understanding with Malachi? Where are you at Malachi?
What are you not understanding?
Well, you're a member of House of Black. You want to give us a
Yes,
House of Black
officially.
update?
Well, I mean, what are you not understanding?
It's not that I don't understand anything. I'm just saying, like, anything you've been thinking about lately with him?
Well, he's been showing up a lot in like indie matches with a different mask recently, and I have a theory that, and so the mask is like sort of like a half of an actual human face instead
Right.
of just a skeleton. And I think eventually, I'm wondering if it's going to be like a full human face, and then that will just be his face, and there'll be no more mask. It'll just be like the face paint, and he'll be fully
Oh, you think? Oh, yeah, that's true. His face paint seems to be growing.
right.
Right?
And so eventually, the mask goes from skeleton to like half human, full human, and then no mask at all, and it's just his full paint.
That's interesting as fuck.
Because he hasn't had it on TV yet. The mask has changed since Brody joined.
Yeah.
But he hasn't had this other mask that I've seen on TV yet.
Yeah. Well,
And he sprayed Penta, right?
yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's yeah.
Why is that interesting?
Well, I mean, that kind of keeps Penta in the storyline potentially for longer and for some other purpose.
He's very fucking exciting. I wish he had more of an in-ring segment. Is my one thing. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I wish they would have the balls to do a little bit of the WWE, like set up a bunch of candles or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Have him in the ring and let's see what the House of Black looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a sermon. Exactly. Like there's part of it I'm like, let's flesh this out a little more. It happens a lot with this stuff, you know. Now,
well, it's because it needs and deserves an hour of the 2 hours, but you can never do that.
right. Yo, so listen, Jade. I want to talk about Jade for a second. So, Jade, obviously a star. I was listening to her. I was reading the transcript of her Talk is Jericho interview.
Yeah.
Where she was talking about how WWE offered her a contract. Did you read any of that?
No.
WWE offered her a contract. It was pretty interesting. She was saying that, like they kind of made her feel weird about being a mom. Is what she was saying. She was like, I was talking to them and they're like, well, like you have a kid. Like, is that a problem? Like, blah blah blah. And she was like, well, no, my spouse travels with me. You know what I mean? And she was like, my spouse travels with me and blah blah blah. And they're like, great. Well, like, just so you know, like, this comes first and shit like that.
Yeah.
Then she went to AEW and they like didn't even talk about her kid. They're like, you
Right.
can handle that on your own.
Right.
And she was like, that's why she signed with AEW. You
That's
know what
amazing.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting. It's like, what the fuck is going on with that company?
Right.
But Jade cuts this promo, and her promos are taped, and they're still fucking bad. Like,
yeah, she's not great on the mic.
yeah, like they're so bad. It's like first off, can we talk about that bitch show for a second?
Yes.
How does that work? Like, I know a lot of times in wrestling you have something that's not like grammatically like doesn't fit into an actual
Right.
sentence,
It's that bitch. Because she's that bitch, and it's her show.
Right, like even the Big Show. I remember when they first started calling him the Big Show. I was like, "What is that? Like, I'm the Big Show? Like, I don't even understand what that means. Like, you're using show as a noun,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
like
yeah.
or like whatever. You know what I mean? So you're like,
The big show.
yeah, you're using show as like a a proper noun or whatever.
Or
Like,
the way that you would like show a tell, or like, you know what I mean? Like you would show like a I'm a big show. Like it's like
Yeah, like a show, like you go to a show, but then I was like, oh, it's a big like, yeah, the big show and tell,
yeah,
right? Like the verb of to show, right?
right, yeah,
So like
or yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah.
every time she says it, I've thought about. Sometimes when she says it, I'm like, oh, it works, and then she delivers in a way where it makes no sense.
Right.
She's like, cause I'm that bitch show, but you're like, okay, so are you trying to shoehorn in an acronym for TBS, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. TBS stands for that bitch show.
Right. She's like, cause it's like I'm that bitch.
Right.
So it's like you have to. So these are taped segments, right?
Right.
So why not have her say it in a way that makes sense grammatically, right? If her go like, yo, because when you watch this, it's that bitch show, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
That's what you'd want to say, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But
right.
she
Right.
does it where she's like, because that bitch show, and I'm like I don't know. Fuck. Let me hold on. I have it really right here. I want to watch it.
Or maybe
'Cause I
it's
wanna
like
say,
maybe it's like that bit like it's commenting on what that bitch does and
no.
she shows. It's like it's that bitch show.
All right, here's the deal. It's just her delivery that's what's off, because this actually makes sense. She says, the question is, who's next on. Hold on.
Who's next?
Hold on. Well, oh, yeah, that's true. She goes, the question is, who's next on my show? That bitch show.
Right.
That doesn't really I guess it makes sense because she's saying, like, who's next on my show? And what show are you talking about? I'm talking about that bitch show, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
that's.
There's a parenthetical.
So I feel for her, too, because it really doesn't work. To be honest, it works, but it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
It's like a first thought. They were like, what's TBS stand for? It's like, that bitch show.
She should have just called herself the Big Show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they gave her Paul White. It would have been cool, right?
Yeah, the biggest show.
Well, TBS is still the Big Show.
Right. Yeah.
And instead it's that bitch show. It's like, yo, she has to start calling herself that bitch, right?
Yes, which I think she does.
Does she? She's like, I'm that bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm her, I cut a promo. Who's writing this shit? Hire writers. Tony Khan, you're with billions of fucking dollars. Hire some fucking writers for these shows. These are your television programs. You hire any fucking carny who couldn't cut it on the indies. Hire writers who couldn't cut it in Hollywood, okay? But, like, have her just be like, yo, because I'm that bitch. Bottom line is, like, you're like, who do you think, who's the top of the line? It's that bitch. And this is that bitch show. Boom. Now I just Rob Van Damned it. Right?
That bitch show.
Bitch show.
Does it pass the RVD test? Can you do this with it?
Yo. Rob Van Dam in hindsight's one of my favorite wrestlers.
He's the man.
I liked him at the time. I would say Rob Van Dam is one of my guys. I would say
100%. Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't think I've ever said that.
Matter of
By
fact,
the way,
I'm gonna in tribute.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam is one of my guys. Like
Mr. Monday Night, dog.
Why did I even think about that? Rob Van Dam,
ECW.
so one of my guys. In ECW, what was it, the Chairinator? Whatever the fuck, you hit you with the chair. Fuck, I'm forgetting what it was called. But his finisher was throwing a chair at you, you catch it, and then he kicks the chair in your face. Like, I loved it. His singlets
together. Oh yeah,
his singlets were like iconic to me. Like when I'm like, this guy looked awesome. He looked exactly like Rob Van Dam.
Yeah,
he looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme, so he just called himself Rob Van Dam.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
RVD.
It's just like, I look like Jean-Claude Van Damme, so why don't I just call myself, I don't know, Greg Van Dam.
Derek Van Dam. Oh my god.
By the way,
his
see, this is the problem.
RVD 420 says I just smoked.
Oh yeah, ass. His match. By the way, like his match for Cena, in the fucking Hammerstein is like one of my top wrestling moments ever. You know, and you have to give WWE props for that, even though they tanked ECW after that. But actually, fun fact: I was at an ECW show. I was at CM Punk's WWE debut, which was at an ECW show in Hammerstein Ballroom.
No shit.
I watched CM Punk's first match. He had all those lead-ups being like, I'm a straight edge, man. I don't drink. You can go back, watch his videos. They would do vignettes leading up to him. By the way, this is a side note, what's the guy's name? Veer? The guy who never debuted? Oh, you have not seen this?
Oh, yeah.
What's it like?
No.
Veer Mahan or whatever? I don't know what his name is. and then every meme is like he's coming. He's coming, like that. He's coming. Like they're so funny because he just never debuted.
Oh, that
They
sucks
do
for
that.
him.
They do that shit all the time. No, but it's
It's
listen,
hilarious.
sucks for him as a talent. I'm
Yeah,
just talking
it's
about in
hilarious,
general.
though.
It's funny that it's just funny that WWE fans are just you can't get anything by them. You know, it's so fucking funny. Uh yeah, Rob Van Dam. But this is the problem, right? It's not like you can't look. Let's talk about Adam Cole. I'm picking on Adam Cole. Okay, he's a great talent, but I guess I'm picking on him today because when you look at like Rob Van Dam, you look at the big show, these characters, the shit they were doing was way catchier, and there was a way more of a commitment to gimmickry. You know, that is just kind of gone for me. And you need a little bit of it. Like not everybody gets to be Randy Orton, you know. And I don't mean you have to like be like a clown, but there's like every wrestler's thing can't be I'm cool.
Right.
Like, every wrestler's thing can't be like I'm super cool and I don't lose. You know.
Right.
You know, like you don't all get to do that. Like you have to have more of a thing. Like,
I
what
was
is Adam
talking to-
Cole's thing? I pick on him the most. What is
Baby.
his thing? He's the Panama City bad boy. I don't even know. Is he ever in Panama City ever?
No,
One time
but
he cut a
his
promo by
thing-
a pool during the pandemic in front of a bug net, right?
So it's an interesting question because his thing is not what he's doing. His thing, like you're asking what's his type? Like what is he like? If I'm casting him in something, right? Like what am I putting
He's
him as?
Shawn Michaels before he went into
Steroids.
the Captain America machine.
Right.
And considering
No.
Dolph Ziggler gets so much shit for biting off Shawn Michaels, but at least he can fucking actually hang like that,
Right.
you know?
But so like Adam Cole's vibe is one of like a like a scumbag, like crime boss,
Right. Who
vibe.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Who's in a very committed monogamous relationship with
a
another
dentist.
wrestler, and it's like you see he's a really great guy and like in a really committed relationship with the dentist. He's with the most steady job. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? These guys got health care up the ass. Him in
Right.
that relationship.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
an Aetna.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? They like those two play it safe as fuck, and he's like, I'm a fucking maniac, blah blah blah. I mean, Adam Cole is I pick on Adam Cole the most. I like him, and I'm gonna regret it because I know I'm gonna cross paths with him one day and feel bad about this or whatever. It's fine. I'll even
No,
say this.
he's a super
He's so
charismatic,
talented.
talented dude.
And he's captivated the crowd.
Right.
But he's not able to get over. He's not able to take that Daniel Bryan jump. And the way he's going about it now is he's playing the hits. He's playing the hits.
Right.
You know, in his prime. I'm sorry, I interrupted you 40 times, but I think I made the point,
No, it's okay.
right?
Yeah, you did.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like, it's like he's coming out. I'm Adam Cole. I say baby. I'm from Panama City. I date a dentist. I hang out with two white guys named Red Dragon. Like, I'm sorry, it's not good. It's
Not to be
frankly
confused
not
with
good.
American Dragon, who's the other guy that's here.
The American Dragonson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Davison. Whereas like Moxley, absolutely killing it. Cowboy, who I'm not even a huge fan of. Anxious Millennial Cowboy, great gimmick, new dad. I get him. I get him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like even that bitch show. I'm just saying the execution of the wording's a little off, but I get it. It's like it's that bitch show. It's like sorry, she's essentially going for some version of like she's the Charlotte of AEW, right?
Yeah, you know what I kind of loved?
Like she's so. I mean, Jade. I look at her. I'm like, oh my god, what a fucking woman.
Specimen.
What
Yeah.
a woman. She's a
the-
babe. She's also like a jacked fucking like she's also the biggest one, but also hot as fuck. Like she's
Right.
awesome. She's everything. You know?
Yeah. She looks like Storm, the X-Man in real life.
Yeah. 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 I'm so attracted to her, but also intimidated by her.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Right.
That's me and Rhea Ripley.
I was thinking about Rhea Ripley and you because you said you wanted she could sit on your face or whatever, but I would
Whoa,
say
whoa, 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 whoa,
wait,
whoa,
no,
whoa,
punch
whoa,
you in
whoa.
the face. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That
But you
guy.
can
Whoa,
punch
whoa,
me in
whoa, 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 whoa. Wow.
Don't be weird, Dan. I said that she can punch me in the face.
I'm sorry. I said sit on your face. I got you confused with all the other
You
perverts out
can
there.
get me canceled. No,
She's
Rhea
in the
Ripley.
Deep,
if you
deep
want,
in the Jabrone zone. So
you
deep.
can
Where I
punch
told you
me.
she would be.
That's fine. She can still punch me in the face whenever she wants.
No, she's attractive as fuck also. You know what I mean? It's nothing to do with that. I like all types. But here's the deal. I'm right about these talents. Darby Allin, when his music hits, I'm pumped. I'm like, Darby Allin's the man. I know his deal. I know what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
MJF,
I texted
pumped.
this to Phil. Speaking of like entrance music, Darby's music, like that might be the best entrance music in AEW.
Who actually I
Oh no,
haven't
I'm sorry, no, I'm mistaking. Fuck Darby Allin. I meant Orange Cassidy, the Pixies. That one.
Okay, so listen, of course,
That's-
I adore that song. That's the Fight Club song. It's in The Leftovers. You know, my favorite song is I Was Swimming in the Caribbean. Okay? That line, I don't know why, it is one of my favorite lines in any song ever. It's because it's coming off a chorus, and it's just so jarring. It's like, hey, let me tell you a little story here. So I was swimming in the Caribbean. Like, it's just such a fucking yeah, I love it. Okay, Where's My Mind? And then to I was swimming in the Caribbean. All right, you get it. I lost my mind. But also, funny story aside, I was swimming in the Caribbean. All right, love that. I find that song distracting because
okay.
I find it distracting because it's so iconic to me. It is so the Fight Club song for me. You know. It is not like Orange Cassidy. I think needs a song that is like more like original. Here selling this guy. But that being said, I pop for it every time, like because I hear it. But I do find it distracting. But I'm very specific about music matching up to character. I think Adam Cole song, which Tulo likes, is like a sound alike of his old song. It's like a parody of what he used to be to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I even feel that about the new Daniel Bryan song. I like that a lot more, but it's not memorable like his old one. It's kind of just like an homage to it, you know.
Daniel Bryan's theme song sounds like it should have
A
like
rapper.
a voiceover that's like text 4999 to get your Patriot meme bundle.
The coin, this limited edition 45 coin, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember when America was doing great for those 4 years? Get yourself this
your
America
commemorative-
45 coin.
Yeah, text now.
One thing I was thinking about Trump is that if you had to put Trump on a coin, you'd have to do a profile of him, which is the least flattering angle for him,
yeah.
right?
It looks like like him from the side looks like you're looking at like a tortilla.
Oh my God! By the way, this is just all right. I was listening to my buddy's podcast. We'll See You in Hell. Joe DeRosa, Pat Walsh, two tremendously hilarious talents. They have a horror podcast. I listen forever. I love those guys. They're my friends, folks. Joe was telling the story about they were asking Trump about Ron DeSantis, and they were like, he was like, so what do you think about Ron DeSantis not taking the booster shot or whatever, you know? And he's like, he's boosted. They're all boosted. They're all boosted. I love the booster. I took the booster, the vaccine. We saved tons of lives. And then he's like, so why do you think they're saying they're not boosters? And he's like, because they're gutless.
Yeah.
They're all. I'm just literally telling a story Joe told. But that is just like, that's the part of Trump that is just, to be honest, it's why people like Trump, whether you like him or hate him or not.
Right.
Is because he's just like, has the balls to just be like, these guys are all fucking boosted. And, you know?
But the major.
He weirdly is not. What were you saying? Go.
No, but so like the thing with him is like. Yeah. He just says what's on it. He just says whatever is on his mind, right?
Yeah. But it sucks when he's the president and we need real information.
Yeah, because you know who behaves like that? That's like crazy people on the bus also just say whatever on their mind.
Yeah.
But they're not.
You're entertained by that. The second they start talking, you take out your phone. You're like, I gotta get this. It's the same thing as that guy who's like, you got to see the guy like you guys have done it. You've all made me start saying unhoused. It has happened. Unhoused. The unhoused Danhausen. Danhausen, by the way, doesn't have a home. He's unhoused. Folks.
He's Dan. We have them. Oh my God, the Dan-housed community.
But there's that guy who's just like Joe Byron. You seen those videos?
No.
They'll be like, he's like this guy who's like unhoused on the streets of on Coney Island.
Right.
And it's very viral. It's like they're just like, who's the president? He's like Byron. Yeah, he'll be like, Joe Byron. They're like, what would you say to him if you could? He'd be like, what's up, baby? Come take me to dinner. It's very viral because I think people like it because it's, well, first off, people like it because they're kind of dickheads punching down in some way. But then there's also the element that's like, he has no actual opinion, which is kind of refreshing. You know?
Sure. I mean, it's exploitative.
Of
That
course,
video
100%.
sounds
It
like
is an
yeah.
element of like bum fights and blah blah blah, but people post it. And I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? I understand why people have problem with it. I never posted it or anything. I just saw it because it was very viral. It has nothing to do with me.
No, I get
Blame
it.
Zuckerberg.
I get it.
Blame
I get
Fuckerberg.
it. No, I get it, man. People, you have to, you have to distance yourself from it through like apathy so that you can forget about the fact that you're like a one medical emergency away from being that guy. So I get it.
That is 100% true. I agree with that. I'll also say this is that I actually don't find that stuff that entertaining, or I actually don't find it. I didn't find it that funny. It's just very popular, you know.
Right.
And yeah. So anyway, it's not like my style of humor per se, you know.
Sure.
This is more my style of humor. What I'm doing here is just picking on Adam Cole today. Anyway, I actually got to get out of here. I got to go run and do some stuff. But I do, you know, I watched Rampage last night. I fucking really enjoyed that show. It was just, I was in the mood to just watch some wrestling matches. I got to watch Guevara versus Isaiah Cassidy. Like, that was a fun match. Seeing Guevara holding the 2 titles was fun. And they're going to go to a Guevara-Darby Allin feud. Like, I'm like,
That's cool.
yes, let me see those matches. You know what I mean? Let me see those fucking matches. That's pumped. They keep doing vignettes for Hook. They're slow building Hook in a way where you're very, very excited for him.
Yes.
Putting him over like QT Marshall, that'll be fun. Thunder Rosa leaning too hard into cosplay for me. You guys know I don't like cosplay. I don't know what she was cosplaying, but I was like, this feels like cosplay. And I'm happy to see Mercedes Martinez in AEW. I don't know what they're gonna do for her, but like, I always respect her. You hear any of her interviews and stuff, you know. So I hope she gets some kind of push at some point, you know.
Yeah.
Very excited. Adam Cole. I say he's literally just like, yo, I'm gonna beat up Evil Uno next week. This is, by the way, he's just like, listen up, Evil Uno, and you're like, yo, bro, you don't tough guy Evil Uno.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, make fun of Evil Uno, right? You can't.
Right.
Your promo can't be. You can't go wrestle Orange Cassidy. These are 2 goof characters. You know.
Right.
You can't just be like, oh, you guys have really pissed me off. You look like PC Principal or some shit. Like, you look like a fucking idiot. Adam Cole is off right now. And listen, you're all giving me shit for it. Watch when he gets good. He will be good. He will be the champion. He will be a big star. And it will be when he pivots or adds another element. That's what I'm calling. And where are the Young Bucks? I adore the Young Bucks. When they're gone, I miss them. Okay?
Yeah.
Young Bucks are your girlfriend who annoys the shit out of you, and then she's gone for a week, and you're like, man, I really need this person in my life.
Or she's gone forever, and you realized how much of how much they brought to the relationship, and you didn't really bring anything.
All you fucks who complain about the Young Bucks, don't stop doing it. And Matt Cardona continuing to be an example of what's cool about wrestling. So anytime you're like, well, all you do is complain and blah, blah, blah. Here's guys doing great work right now. Charlotte, I'm giving her credit. I loved Becky's promo on Monday, which she was calling Ronda Rousey Ronnie and a little weirdo again. I really like that because Ronda's weirder than ever. And Charlotte was talking about how Charlotte was cutting a great promo on Ronda Rousey. She's like, what do? You go home and play some fucking video games? I love that because I think play video games is lame. I do play video games, but I do think
it's a lame thing to do.
It's
fun, but
it's a great thing to rip on somebody for. You know what I mean? And
look, I play video
Adam
games
Cole
more
doing
than
very
almost
bad
anyone.
work. Very bad work right now. I'm going to pick on him. Daniel Bryan and Moxley, great work. Moxley in the fucking zone. He looks like $1 million. His character's so clear. He's an epitome of what AEW wrestlers should be striving for, I think. Even just as like when he's just in the ring like this, I love it. He's a guy who was so not one of my guys, who was so deeply close to being one of my guys. If I didn't, he probably should be one of my guys, but I have to remember the years where he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So he has not done the thing to push me over the edge yet.
But doesn't that that seems to negate
But that's not
the
true.
entire...
He should, because matches with Kenny on your shirt, those were so good. The storytelling with Kingston was so fucking good. You know?
Yes, and I mean, like, that flies. The idea that you have to remember the days that he wasn't one of your guys flies in the face of the concept of one of your guys, because you've said it yourself. Somebody can become one of your guys at any time.
Yeah. I know, like Moxley. I gotta be honest. Like he probably is one of my guys. I mean, like I let. All right, I'm actually gonna consciously think about this. Is he
Okay.
one of my guys? Like he really is fucking the epitome of the good shit. Where it's like he has authentic, feels like he's executing his vision for wrestling while also being himself. He's puts on great matches. He looks main event. He looks like a big guy. He's got that fucking Sandman like. I'm not WWE vibe, but he comes from WWE. He ran his mouth and then fucking backed it up to a degree. I mean, the respect I got for the guy is so fucking high. Now he's a fucking real family man, not a jabroni family man. You know what I mean? Like not just like using that label. He's actually like a one because he doesn't even he talks about it only if it's remotely relevant. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
The way him and Renee operate, I dig. You know what I mean? They're not just like doing what Adam Cole does, looking for cheap pop by being like, "Oh, I know they're together," when those characters actually have no business in the ring together yet in storyline. Really, right?
Right.
They didn't organically cross paths at all. They're just looking for heat, full sail heat is what he's looking for. The Gargano shit, and watch Gargano is gonna. You know what? I'll give Gargano props. His whole Gargano way stuff was he was going for something. And it kind of did work at some point. It was just in the deep depths of NXT Jabron zone. NXT 1.5, we'll call it, right?
Right.
Anyway, wrestling is a blast right now. And you know the fact that I'm talking shit means I care a lot about it right now, which is a blast. But WWE, man, holy shit. This Mania is going to be rough. It is going to be there's going to be some high moments to it and whatnot, but you know which talent it's going to be. You know? Anyway, got to go.
All right.
Interesting time, Newman. Great to see you.
Likewise.
You look beautiful. You look handsome. And everybody, keep watching wrestling. Kisses. Cheers up. Patreon.com/comedians wrestling. Support this podcast. We do it our fucking selves. Support us. Okay? Eat a dick salad. Man. Woo! Keep watching wrestling. Kisses. Bye.